Greetings guys, Si here, and welcome to another week on the Teaching Diaries. You join me on a very foggy, misty morning here at Bury St Edmunds Golf Club. I'm going to talk this week all about gap fitting, so let's go. So what is gap fitting, and why do I think that everybody that plays golf should have one? Okay, so gap fitting is essentially a test where you hit all of the golf clubs in your bag and you see how far they actually go. Oh, I need to do another light here, hang on. So essentially you go through your bag with a launch monitor and actually see how far all the clubs in your bag travel. So it's essential, if you want to play good golf, that you actually have a good idea of how far each of your clubs go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit 5 shots with every club in my bag, take an average, write it down, see what comes up. Most importantly though, you have to use your own golf balls, and ideally you need a launch monitor to measure those distances. Makes it a lot easier, cleaner and simpler process. Right, so we're vlogging one-handed, pushchair and buggy board. Where are we going, Cameron? We're off to our first ever
day at boot camp.
Boot camp, yes. So Mummy goes to boot camp twice a week. So it's bank holiday, so little children, pet monkeys and bad back, overweight daddies are allowed too. Let's see what happens.
You're calling, I'm falling. Don't know what it is you do to me, yeah. Where you go, I follow. Let's go out and dance the night away. Going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dance the night away. I am ready for that heartbreak. That's usually how it goes. I have done a billion mistakes before.
Well, we managed to wear one of them out. Boot camp was fun, team, wasn't it? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
You tired?
Yeah. My feet are tired.
Your feet are tired?
Yeah, so I must give my feet a rest.
You must give your feet a rest. It's good you're on that buggy board then, isn't it? Managed to do most of the exercises. Only one I couldn't do because of my back. Definitely felt good. Love to do that again. Just wish we had a bit more time to do it together. But we have to look after these ones. Although you're not much hard work and you joined in. Good morning guys, it is 5:30 AM as you can see, and it's Tuesday morning, so it's Tuesday morning golf club. Quick back update, the back is feeling a lot better. Thanks Joe for all the stretches and all the sleeping ideas. Definitely making a difference. I think also doing the boot camp yesterday made a big difference, just actually being a lot more active, being a lot more core orientated. I think one of the things that my back struggles with is when I do sit around too much, maybe too much lazing on the sunbed, not enough running. I certainly haven't been doing enough running. That's got to improve in the next few weeks. And probably eating a bit too much, just being a little bit lazy. So got to get on it. Right, gonna go play the few holes this morning. It's a little bit overcast, but I think it should stay dry. And we're going to test out and hopefully give you a better review than last week of those new FootJoy ARC shoes. So firstly, thanks to FootJoy for sending them through to me. Let's go test them out. Right, so FootJoy ARC, not the most technologically advanced shoe that FootJoy do, coming in around about the £100 mark. They're quite a soft, cushiony sole, supposed to be very comfortable shoe, very hard TPU spikeless design at the bottom. Now I haven't really had a proper spikeless shoe, so I'm looking forward to seeing how these perform. Read some good reviews about it, read some mixed reviews about it, but as always the best thing to do is to test these things out for yourself. So it's quite a dewy morning this morning, a really good test of whether this actually gives me sufficient grip. For you guys that have seen me swing before, you will know I put a fair amount of pressure through the ground, so going to be interesting to see how these perform. So it's quite foggy, this could be quite interesting. So literally first impressions. Very comfortable, nice wide fit. Now I am a 10.5 wide in FootJoy shoes, and these shoes are no different. Obviously they send me the size they ask for, but yeah, definitely a lot looser fitting than a normal FootJoy shoe. So certainly in the DNAs that I've had in the past would come up a little bit tighter than this. So certainly feel like there's plenty of room in here. Hopefully not too much room that my feet actually wiggle around, but there's only one way to find out. So to the course.
Where you go, I follow. Let's go out and dance the night away. I am ready for that heartbreak. That's usually how it goes. I have done a billion mistakes before. Maybe I am going crazy. Say you feel the same. Now that we dancing, taking my chances. I'm going like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at you when you're on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready for that heartbreak? I'm going like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at you while you're on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready for that heartbreak?
Okay, so that is another day done. Just finished off with our usual Tuesday night junior group coaching. Tonight we did putting skills challenge. So 3 different challenges to test their skills, get the score, do some putting practice and coaching over the summer, test them again at the end, see if they improve. Okay, so review time. The FootJoy Arc SL. I have been wearing it all day. Sorry, just had a fly in my hair there. So yes, been wearing it all day, and it is a very comfortable shoe. It's certainly perfect for teaching in, for wearing all day, and generally as a coach I do have a pair of shoes that I always live in. Now I'm not necessarily saying that these are going to be the best shoes for playing in. They're quite loose and floppy and comfortable really. I certainly feel like I probably need a little bit more support, certainly in the middle of my feet. I'm not sure how long they're going to wear the spikes, and again that's something that's going to be tested throughout the duration of the shoes.
You're calling, I'm falling. Don't know what it is you do to me, yeah. Where you go, I follow. Let's go out and dance the night away. Going like 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Dance the night away. I am ready for that heartbreak. That's usually how it goes. I have done a billion mistakes before. Maybe I am going crazy. Say you feel the same. Now that we dancing, I'm taking my chances. I'm going like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at you when you're on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready for that heartbreak? I'm going like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at you when you're on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready for that heartbreak?
It's haircut time. Okay, so once you've done your gap fitting and you know how far all your clubs go, the next thing to do, as always, is to go through the course guide. So just like we did at Hadley Wood, I'm going to take 3 holes in a bit more detail. I'm going to talk through why I've chosen my club selections. And then when we get to Hadley Wood next week, see if they're actually genuine or see if I actually change my mind when I get on the tee. Okay, so looking at my gap fitting distances, my carry yardage is for driver with 272, 245 with 3-wood, 225 with hybrid, yeah that's right, and 207 with my 4-iron. So that gives me 4 viable options for teeing off clubs on par 4s and 5s, depending on where the trouble is, depending how wide the fairway is, and also depending on what I think I need to hit into the green. So as I said before, it's all about trying to get me as close to the green as possible without putting me in any trouble. Okay, so as we're starting on the first hole, probably thought it'd be a good idea to start this little review there. So the first hole, there is the bunker on the left hand side at 255 yards from the tee, and it's 275 yards I believe to carry it. So as it's a par 5 and it's the opening hole, and I won't have warmed up, well I would have warmed up but I won't be well into my round, I definitely think that's a hole that I don't want to make any silly mistakes on. So I'm looking at a rescue club to hopefully end up short of the bunker, to then give me the option to either hit a rescue or 3-wood onto the green, or an iron up short of the green and then knock a pitch shot on. It isn't a long par 5, and if it came later on in the round then I probably would hit driver, but as it's the first hole we take it easy and make sure that we don't make any silly mistakes early in the round. Okay, so moving on to the 7th hole, which is the par 3. Looks like it's a bit of an angled green. So I've noted down, as you can see, 3 different pin locations, and obviously 3 different clubs. So it's 1, 2, 8, I believe, to the front of the green. And if the pin is somewhere near the front and it's not into wind, then I'll hit the 50-degree wedge, which carries around about 130 yards. If the pin's in the middle, it should be around about 140 yards, which should be perfect for my pitching wedge. And if the pin is up the back, it is 168 to the back of the green there. If I hit 9-iron, that's not going to go that far, and that gives me the option. Obviously, if there's some wind, or if it's particularly uphill or downhill, something I can't necessarily tell from the stroke saver, then I'll adjust my clubs accordingly. Okay, so let's jump forward to the 16th as the final hole that we're going to go through. There's a bunker on the left-hand side, which is 205 to carry, and then there's a bunker on the right, which is 241. But as the hole is only 370 yards long, I can get away with hitting a 4-iron off the tee. It won't reach the right-hand bunker. Hopefully, if I pull it, it may carry the left bunker. That's definitely a risk that's worth taking. And hopefully that should then leave me a wedge or even a 9-iron at the worst into that green. So see, it's all about knowing those distances and then planning your strategy accordingly. So that's the teeing off clubs. Let's go get our haircut, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about wedges and wedge distances and how they're going to really keep that scoring going. So, see you in a bit. Okay, so that is haircut done, boys dropped off, now en route to physio. So just going to go quickly through while I'm driving here about some of those 1/2 and 3/4 shots. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but I have quite a specific system for my 3/4 and 1/2 shots. We have done a video on it, which I'll link up here somewhere. And it's something that I take quite a lot of pride in. I do a lot of coaching about 3/4 swing and 1/2 swings. And maybe, again, I'll revisit it in a new video for you. But I think it's important for you to have some in-between shots, because you're not always going to have those specific yardages for your full swings. So for me, I've got my pitching wedge, my 50-degree wedge, my 54-degree wedge, and my 58-degree wedge. So I'll hit full shots with all of those, and I'll hit 3/4 shots with all of those. I won't hit 1/2 shots with pitching wedge, and I don't always hit full shots with 58-degree wedge, but I do have a distance. I don't have a preference for those 2 shots, but they're there if I need to. So you can see on the screen here the distances that I hit, and I've rounded them up to the nearest yards, because even though obviously I'm trying to play at a fairly good level, I don't need to be as precise as an exact yardage to 1, 2, 3, 7, whatever it might be. It's just about getting that ball into a position and knowing that if I've got a bunker at the front of the green that is 27 yards on and the pin is 5 yards on from there, that I've got a number that can do that. And I've also got a couple of different trajectories that I can use. Sometimes I'll hit the low 50-degree wedge, and sometimes I'll hit the high 58-degree wedge. It's just about having those skills, having those options. So if you have yourself a gap fitting and you do some good practice and some good testing with these different length swings, you can get some really good improvement on your short game and save yourself loads of shots. Right, now I'm about to go on the dual carriageway. Don't fancy talking while I'm driving on that, so see you later. So guys, that is another week on the teaching diary done. I'm just having a little walk after my physio session, just trying to make sure that everything is loose. Really nice massage from Joe today, just to loosen things up and get me ready for Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed that content on gap fitting. It's so important to know how far your clubs go from the top to the bottom of your golf bag, and all those 1/2 and 3/4 shots in between that are going to make you score so much better. So if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, which will be just here, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Guys, just wandering back to the car, and I realised I forgot to mention, next week is going to be all about trick shots. I get to watch 2 of the greatest trick shot artists in England do their thing. I'm going to do a review, obviously, of both of their shows, and maybe even try a few myself. And I might even try and see if I can get... So, make sure you don't miss it. See you next week. Bye-bye again.